Hey! This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday to you. Welcome on in, JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen. Thanks for being with us, everybody. The gang's back together.
We missed you.
Well, I missed
Welcome
you
back.
guys. Thanks, man. Everything good? Did college football still get played this past week?
Football is still going on.
Okay.
Yeah, last week was
wild.
I don't know what the word is to describe it. It's nice to move on to a new week.
Yes,
feels
man.
like a new beginning.
Absolutely.
And you look at the slate this weekend, and there's just a lot to be excited about.
Oh, you mean actual like games that mean something more?
Yeah.
We'll be able to find out actually what these teams are made of?
I mean, I can't wait to see Utah take on Texas Tech. I'm really fascinated to see how BYU handles a road trip.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen them play at Vele Edwards Stadium. We've seen Bear Bachmeier, play in front of a home crowd. How is he going to do in a hostile environment against an East Carolina team that actually is pretty decent?
I think this Hauser kid at quarterback for
not
them,
a bad team they're playing this weekend.
I think it's a perfect test because you are traveling. The quarterback is not a throwaway. He's throwing for a lot of yards. He's throwing for 300 plus a game, and I know it's East Carolina, but. Listen, I was around covering that. I was doing the pre and post game shows when that 2017 season hit and they lost out there at East Carolina. I know what it's like to be out.
How about
in
the game at Vele Edwards Stadium?
I know. I know what it feels like to lose to East Carolina, BYU fans, and you've done it. You are now 1-2 against East Carolina overall.
So they owe them, right?
Yeah. So it's a weird opponent because you can get got. Right?
Yeah.
And we've seen teams getting got over the weekend. But that's why we love college football, JJ. This is why, and my kids, I knew that I had preached the football gospel the right way to these kids because they were like, we get to Sunday, and the NFL games are fun.
Oh,
but they're watching
Sunday was unreal.
Phenomenal. But my kids still went, I think I like college football better. I was like, yes, why, though?
Man.
I said, why, though? And they go, because I know the NFL, intellectually, I know the NFL is supposed to be better. But, like, fans seem like that they're more into these college games. I said,
Did your kids watch LSU Florida?
Now, no. That one we dipped out on.
Ugh.
That one was ugly. I did show my oldest the 5 interceptions that DJ Lagway had.
Oh, my
He goes,
God.
this guy's terrible. I said, I know, and I don't even know if LSU's any good. And I don't even know. And frankly, Brian Kelly doesn't know if LSU's any good either. Like, I think he's at those press conferences going, how dare you ask me those questions? We just won a football game. I'm like, yeah, but you sucked.
But your offense sucks, dude.
Maybe Dabo Swinney, bless his heart, maybe he had something right when he said both of you guys had the final exam in the first week and you both kind of did meh. Because I don't look at Garrett Nussmeier and think that guy's blown the world up. Ask Cade Klubnik, ask Garrett Nussmeier, ask DJ Lagway, all these quarterbacks that were supposed to be the guys across the land of college football. And instead, you're having to convince people of teams like Utah, right? You're having to convince people of guys like Devin Dampier. You're having to convince guys of the Josh Hoovers and the Baron Mortons of the world and the Sawyer Robertsons, people we already knew were going to be good in the Big 12. And it turns out that these other quarterbacks that everyone decided for us that were going to be good are not necessarily there yet. So all of the different storylines from over the weekend and all the different games, it's interesting. I can't wait to – this is what we do. We get together on Mondays, and we're fresh slate. We haven't talked to each other about what the weekends have been like, and so we get each other's like first reactions to these, and we keep it that way on purpose so that we can actually have a decent conversation about all these things. We want you to join along. Our show is brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. You can get them today at Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other retailers in the refrigerated section. Let's kick off the program as we always do, though, with the cut, top of the hour. Let's jump in right here.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the show as well. TRAJANwealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Want to remind you also, guess where we are today? Familiar place. We are at the warehouse here in Salt Lake City, 1825 South, 300 West. I've got a little bit of insider info. You ready for this?
Yeah.
250-plus mattresses in the warehouse behind us over here. And you know they're going out of business. Tom and his guys are like, hey, guess what? I mean, it's getting down to crazy time because the back part of the warehouse they have to be out of in 2 weeks. That means all those mattresses that are in there, which, by the way, I'll tell you in the showroom, there is no room for those mattresses in here in the showroom. You know what that means? They are literally stacking them deep and selling them cheap. You've heard it before. It's actually happening here at the warehouse.
You sound like you've sold some furniture before.
I've been here a few times in my career. I think I've been coming here since like 2010, 2011. Jeez. So, yeah, we've known Tom a long time, and it's sad to see them go out of business. It's good to see him moving into a portion of his life where he can hang out with the grandkids, and I think that's awesome. So we'll be having those deals coming up in just a little bit. Let's talk about this Utah-Wyoming game. I was not nearly as freaked out as everybody else was. This is why you got to get off of social media during football games, you guys. Live tweeting during football games will get reading everybody's live tweets. And
I don't know how.
If
you do it, I don't know how you do it because the anxiety you get, the overreactions, hanging on every play, is too much. Because
it's way too much.
And I stopped doing that. I can't. I'm not going to go on Twitter and break down and analyze every single series or every time something bad happens, have some kind of take for it. Let the whole game play out, and afterwards you analyze it, which is what we're going to do today. But my goodness, yeah, that first half was weird.
Yeah, it was strange.
Weird things happen in Laramie all the time.
Yeah. Do you know what? And before we get into this, I do have to say, though, that Air Force Utah State game, how about Bronco Mendenhall and Bryson Barnes, dude?
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a bit. But
anyway, bottom line was
they were awesome.
I'm watching this game on Saturday night, and I was like, because I have my brother-in-law, massive Utah guy, and I was like, I know they're freaking out because they were like 3-0. Are you kidding me against Wyoming? And I said, yeah, but Wyoming has like 60 yards of offense. Utah had like, 298 or something like that in the first half. It was something stupid.
They dominated.
It was crazy. Yes, they were all over. And there was nothing really Wyoming was doing that got Utah out of sorts. It was just the thing that you saw in the second. And this is why, if it happened in the second half, it would have felt clunkier and more weird.
Yeah.
If they would have scored 28 in the first half and it was 28-0 at the half, you would have been like, Don, this team is moving up in the old AP poll, and I'm moving on in my head. But they did that in the second half. And, in fact, if you're Coach Whittingham, you're going, good. I got in these guys' ears during the break at halftime. I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall in that locker room because I guarantee – spit was flying, and it was finish these freaking drives, you guys, which is what we've heard all day with the press conference of we wanted these guys to finish these drives. And guess what? By the end of the day, they were. 14 points in the third, 14 points in the fourth. It was a clinic. They gave up a touchdown at the end, and it didn't feel like anything, right? And then they end up going and scoring again after Wyoming scored. So I didn't look at this like it was some sort of harbinger of something that was to come. 3-0 at the half against Wyoming, and I had the same thought that Kyle Whittingham did at the end of the game, which was phenomenal play by Wyoming. They came out swinging, and they did not stop swinging. Utah figured some things out in the second half. Devin Dampier's legit. That guy is right now playing like a borderline All-American, right?
The play where he bobbled the ball, it's on the turf, he picks it back up and throws a missile.
Absolute dart. Absolute dart. And then you get a catch on that, too, and you drag one foot. I mean, the whole thing was beautiful. Yeah. So I think that you have something going on there where Utah fans relax. I don't think that this was any kind of an indicator. Again, if they had 17 yards in the first half and it was 3-0, then you're talking about what's going on.
3 and outs against that Wyoming defense, I would be like, what is wrong with this team? You're right. They just couldn't finish drives, and for whatever reason, the field goals didn't go through. You had three drives where you had a chance to score. You didn't in that first half.
But I'll tell you, too, Kyle Whittingham doesn't like field goals all day either. You get touchdowns, and you get in the red zone, you get touchdowns. And it's tough because you have a true freshman kicker who's got a golden leg and probably a lot to learn still, right? And so I'm hoping that they're going to be a little bit
and he learns something in a win.
Yeah, I think that you're going to – I'm hoping that he gets, some of that, somebody's arm around him and go, hey, kickers are people too, man. Like,
so I was told that he was trying to overcorrect for the wind.
Oh.
But his leg's so strong that the wind didn't move the ball.
Right.
And so he over-adjusted.
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty simple fix, right? The distance is not a problem.
No. That guy's going to make
not a problem.
He's going to make a 62-yarder this year. He's going to be
I can't wait to see it.
He's going to be one of these guys that
he did it in high school. He can do it at college.
So I think that there isn't a lot to worry about. Your offense is humming. Your defense is really good.
Even if your offense was struggling a little bit, that defense is really just like BYU. Same conversation. If you have a defense like that, they're going to keep you in every game. Every game.
Did they say what the nature of Rabbit Evans is?
It's not good.
It's not. It's going to be long term.
It wasn't. They didn't give a diagnosis, but it was a severe injury.
All right. Well, that's a tough thing because that defensive backfield. If there are people looking at that team, they're probably going, "That's not a place you wanted to see some people go down." Obviously, but it is also a defensive backfield that is pretty deep and it's got a lot of guys on it. You don't have the luxury of being able to, I think, be as loose with. Putting guys on offense if you've got a little bit more thin situation in the defensive backfield. But I do think that this team is just fine. I think you learned a lot. You go to that place, you play at that elevation, you play in Laramie. Sly, I thought Sly was being. By the way, we're getting texts during the game from Sly, who's doing the sidelines. I thought he was being facetious about the facilities, but they are dialed up a little bit more. Everything's.
It was about 10, 15 years ago, they redid everything.
They got that Josh Allen money. Woo!
They got natural gas and oil and coal money. There's a lot of money in Wyoming, trust me.
They got that firework money. They got that drive-through liquor money. Yeah, man, let's go.
Whatever they have enough to have. They have nice facilities there now. And so it's a fun place to go watch a football game. And Utah did well. I wouldn't be concerned at all, like you said. I think that they're in a good place. And now you've got Texas Tech coming to Rice-Eccles Stadium. I don't care when the game starts. That's not a factor. This is what everybody wanted, was to see this game and to have them both in the top 25 and to have this stage for the Big 12 is phenomenal.
Did you see, and we'll talk about the AP polls coming up a little bit, but did you feel like now that teams like Texas Tech and Utah, because Utah went up multiple spots again this week. I think over the past 2 weeks they've gone up a total of 9 spots maybe. And so now they're at 16 in the country. And you've got Texas Tech, who is just
17.
right there with them.
Yep.
So I think that you're getting big. And then Iowa State is 12th, right, or 14th?
Yes, that's
one of those.
correct.
So you've got Big 12 teams that are moving up as these other teams are being exposed as frauds. The question is can I mean really though,
we'll
right?
Get into that.
Like that happens.
We got a whole segment on that.
Kyle Whittingham in the press conference, his weekly kind of address to the media, talking a little bit about what it was like. Now, this is interesting because everybody wanted to know, hey, what did you say to these guys at the half? Here's what Kyle Whittingham said about what he brought up to his team at the half. I'm sure it was very level-headed and very even-keeled. Here's what he said.
Finish drives, very simple. Defense, we were playing well, like I said, tackling well, defending the rush well. I think they only had like 20 or 30 yards of rushing at halftime. And the whole issue was finishing drives on offense. And fortunately, we got that corrected. O-line did a really good job in that second half. Took charge and really controlled the line of scrimmage.
There's Coach Whittingham.
Down a dark hallway? Where's he at?
PK's like, I'm going to be over here talking to this. No, I don't know who got this sound from him, but listen, it's fine. I will tell you, one of the worst places to get sound in the entire world is at Boise State. Because there's no place for the visiting team to do a post-press.
Yeah.
So it's always under those bleachers, Yeah. It's always so weird. You got people being like, oh, Mike, bring your garbage bag over here. And the coach's like, yeah, we played really hard, I always love that when they have that conversation with each other. Like under the bleachers at Boise State is always the worst post-game press conference. Finish the drives, and they did it. I mean, that's the whole point, right? They figured it out. Devin Dampier, who is having it's hard not to look at the numbers and to see that this guy, he's still above 73% completion percentage. I think he was an appalling 68% this week compared to the 80 and 75 that he was in the first 2 weeks. So he's got 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Everybody remembered the 12-12 from last year. I don't know what it's going to look like when they get into Big 12 play, but they're not playing against absolute slouches, right? I mean, short of Cal Poly, I think what's happening with this guy is he bought in not just to the culture here, but he also bought into if you're going to be the starting quarterback here, there's no version of you handing the ball away on a Kyle Whittingham team. Yeah. You can't do it. Here's what he said about the fumble. Could you imagine the fire in his eyes when that ball comes out? It hits the turf, and he has to bobble that thing and pick it up. And as soon as he threw it, I thought, if he does something magical here, and boom, it was a touchdown. Here's what he said about that fumble that turned into a touchdown pass.
I was looking for a receiver. It kind of just slipped out. And, I trust my O-line that they're holding up, and they were. So I was able to pick the ball up without having to dive on it. And, I just seen Larry in the back of the end zone, and he got wide open for me.
That's simple.
Yeah, just threw it. Just saw a guy, threw it, no problem. So that's how you figure it out if you're Devin Dampier. And here's the thing, too. If you're at New Mexico last year, how does that play end up? You probably get sacked. Right?
Oh, he picks it up and then he's running in circles for 15 seconds.
Or at the very least, his number one thought is, I just have to scramble.
Yeah.
So instead, just think about in that one play how much he's had to grow up in the time that he came to Utah. That's a great picture, like a little capsule of what's going on, I think, in Devin Dampier and the Utah offense, where it's like this. I have all the confidence in the world. I'm going to pick the ball up, and I'm going to still go through a little bit of a progression here. The routes kind of got broken off, I bet, because timing was off. And so then you have guys, and you know how this is. You threw the football in high school. Guys end up getting open when the more time that you end up having. It ends up being a liability when the defense, that ball gets fumbled. It ends up actually kind of, when he picks it up, gathers himself, and actually throws, his guys have broken away from their routes. They've actually gotten open maybe in places that they weren't before. And so he found them. And that was a phenomenal play, and that one's going to play for a long time if it goes down in history of this guy being, who we think he's going to be over the next couple of years here. So it's one of those things where I'm all sorts of excited about what this is going to turn into. Here's what he said about the second half and about finishing drives that Coach Whittingham had brought up, but here's what Devin Dampier said about the very same thing.
Just third down percentage. We've been good at that all year. And as you see, as we came out in halftime, when we're able to convert on third downs, we keep the ball moving. So that was a big emphasis to, make sure we're finishing drives, not just, those first two plays. We're able to recover off of our holding calls a lot better from our second half as well. But yeah, just adversity. I'm glad, we had it earlier than later for sure. I wanted to see what our offense is built of, and for us to, not have that touchdown and to be able to come out halftime and go 100%, awesome to see.
You've got a run game that's working right now with this team. They're mixing it up too.
Their offense is there's so many different formations, personnel packages. There's so many things they're doing. The Rhino thing is cool. The jumbo they're doing at the line at the goal line, bringing Hunter Andrews in as a wildcat formation. They can do all kinds of different things. And how do you prepare for them right now? If you're Texas Tech, you're watching the film, it's like, okay, we got to worry about this and we got to worry about that. What do we do here?
They've done totally different. They've had totally different combos and sets in the 3 games. We've seen very different setups across the board.
They've kept things pretty basic.
Yeah,
this is going to be a tough prep for Texas Tech, and coming into the hostile environment. I know it's a day game. It's not going to be like the night game, but it's still going to be a hostile environment on the road, a place they've never been. And they're going to have to try to figure out all these different things that Utah's throwing at them. As long as the Utes execute what they've been doing well, it's going to be really tough for Texas Tech to keep up with them.
I was pretty emphatic the last times that we've talked about this, because Joey McGuire 2 weeks ago talked about trying to get his guys right for Utah, right?
Yeah.
They knew that their first 3 games were going to be, they knew their stuff. Texas Tech is very confident, and they're almost to 60 points a game all 3 games. They're over 600 yards a game in all 3 games. This is a phenomenal offense, but I stayed next to. But I will say there was part of me that had creep in. The 10 a.m. game does take a little bit off of Rice-Eccles Stadium's edge, right?
It's not as intimidating during the day as it is night. There's no doubt about that.
So there's some of that to me, but I do think that Texas Tech, for as much as they can say that they would be ready for this game, I'm still convinced they have no idea what they're walking into at Rice-Eccles Stadium. I just think that people assume, this is like a – Salt Lake City, this isn't a football town. We've been to football towns down in Texas. It's like, no, not like this. I think there's going to be a different vibe. And what they haven't seen at Texas Tech is a Utah defense, and that's paired with a Utah offense that's really, really good right now. You get this win over the weekend, and I think, like I said, if this would have happened in the first half, people were freaked out in the first half. If that would have happened in the second half, we would have had a little bit different of a conversation, because then – Wyoming made the adjustments, and Wyoming made those plays.
Right.
And that's not what happened. You had Utah go into the break and go, relax, we're running all over these guys, finish the freaking drives. And then they did it. And to be able to have that happen, I think they're walking into this thing and they're still feeling phenomenal about it. And honestly, I was impressed with Wyoming. They have some players.
They
man.
play hard.
That's what it is. It's
Really
they play
hard.
so dang hard.
Their defense played tough, and they were able to get Utah off the field. And you give them credit for that. But you just look at the stats. Look at the stats, and it wasn't even close.
Right.
I mean, for the Utah right now is getting over 500 yards of total offense, and their opponents are barely getting to 200. That's a winning recipe.
I'm loving it right now, watching this team figure it out and to see
It's
the
a
vibe.
fun watch.
Now, here's what's crazy though, not to put this seed of doubt in your mind, but they did start the season out 4-0 last year.
Right.
So there's always that where you go, oh man, now they're rolling, but you go, yeah, but they started out 4-0 last year. Now, I'm not anticipating something happening to Devin Dampier like happened to Cam Rising. However, you know how these things can turn around quickly, and so ask all the Bengals fans today how quickly your season can turn around on the toe of one person. We'll take that break. We'll come back. We have more to go around the corner. Stay here with us, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars head east for a huge non-conference showdown against East Carolina. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. We appreciate you being with us on the show today. Mondays are they're so much fun because we're able to jam on everything that happened over the weekend, the sports weekend across the entire world of sports. Of course, most notably in the football world. Although I will say, I'm starting to read up more about this Utah Mammoth team. I have to get back into that. We, of course, had Bear on a couple weeks ago.
We're going to have NHL hockey here in a month.
We're going to have hockey in a month. We're going to have basketball in a month.
Yep.
Did I mention hockey in a month?
Yeah.
Because maybe the basketball.
I'm talking regular season.
Maybe the basketball.
We got preseason Mammoth game on Sunday.
I love it.
So let's go.
Come on, man. Let's get this thing going. I'm surprised we haven't been invited to skate around at the new ice. Just you and I. I'm saying. Like and then
like a Blades of Glory type thing?
Like the janitor on Happy Gilmore who was singing Endless Love by himself while you and I are holding hands skating around. You know. Hey, by the way, every Wednesday is a Win Ticket Wednesday here on the program. Across the whole station, actually. So how about winning a 4-pack of tickets this Wednesday to Spanish Fork's premier aviation and automotive event coming up on September 27th. It's called Wings and Wheels. So check it out for yourself. It's out there at the Spanish Fork Airport. Don't miss the vintage warbirds, the classic cars, exotic sports vehicles. You can tune in on Wednesday for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets across the entire station, every show, all day long. That's what Win Ticket Wednesday is, baby. All right. Very first thing off of the top, JJ, let's give some of our reactions here to some of the things that happened across the world of college football. We didn't feel great about Clemson after week 1. And we wondered.
These national people were trying to shove them down our throat. We're like, it doesn't taste right.
Who was it? Oh, and I think, you know what? It's going to be awkward when we talk with Jon Wilner at 5 o'clock, and I think he was one of those guys that put them at number 1. And I'm just, it's crazy to me to watch Clemson go from not just struggling a little bit to just being – and I'll tell you, it's good to have Clemson lose if you're following Utah and BYU in the Big 12. It's good to have – Notre Dame already start off 0-2.
Yes.
Because if you take them out of the equation overall, they're stealing away a P4 invite as independent Notre Dame, because if Notre Dame is up there, they're going to get in automatically. Right. Now, can they be totally all the way out of it? No, but it's going to be tough at this point. You don't have a conference championship
to play.
Looking at
their schedule right now. They have one ranked opponent left, and it's 25 USC.
Oh, yeah, and USC.
Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State's not what they've been. NC State. Boston College got beat by Stanford this weekend. Navy's on their schedule. Pitt got beat by West Virginia. Syracuse isn't good, and Stanford. There's not enough quality opponents on their schedule left to overcome the 0-2 start.
And USC could steal that one absolutely. Is it in LA or is it at
it's in South Bend. But USC's a good football team. I would take USC right now over Notre Dame.
Did you see
what have you seen from Notre Dame right now that makes you think, I know that was a great game on Saturday. I'm not taking anything away from that. But I'm not sold that Notre Dame's elite. I'm not sold that Notre Dame
didn't you
is
see
a
the
playoff
holding
team.
call, JJ? I'm going to say it that it was an actual win for the Fighting Irish,
right.
okay? I'm going to get a presidential exemption for Notre Dame to call that a win.
The conspiracy theorist in me thinks that the committee will try to find any way possible they can put Notre Dame in. If they somehow win out, I think Notre Dame could still sneak in, but it'd be tough.
The other ones that are a shock, Notre Dame losing, fine. Clemson losing, okay. When you look at teams like Miami and you go, oh, because on the flip side, you have Carson Beck, who we've still owed we owed the apology to in week 1. We're still apologizing, I guess, because Miami looks really sharp. And I still don't – even teams like let me see here. You look at Georgia, they go into Tennessee, into a hostile Tennessee, and they win that game in overtime. But I think Tennessee looks pretty darn good.
But Tennessee kind of choked that game.
They did. The SEC is going to be a mess at the end of the year. What I'm saying is the SEC is going to be an absolute mess by the end of the year. The top of the top, who's usually counted on to be the teams that will just win out, and they will be the winners, and in an undefeated team versus a one-loss team in the conference championship puts both of those teams into the college football playoff, sometimes in the top 4, both of them. It's going to be tougher to make that shift if you're a college football playoff committee member and you're watching the SEC struggle. Not struggle, but you're watching the SEC with the talent start to get a little bit more closely matched up at the very top. Alabama, great. They got the win over the weekend. Still, nobody knows what it is that they're made of. Nobody knows what Georgia really is made of or Tennessee's really made of. I don't know who these teams are at the top. Florida is garbage. LSU is absolutely fake right now.
Right.
They're getting by against these teams.
That's not the third best team in
they're
the
not
country.
they're not playing well enough to look like it. So I see the things that have happened across the board, and I go, all right, when you look at some of these teams that are making moves, teams that are quietly moving up that board, Iowa State is 4-0. Iowa State is 4-0. By the way, they were 4-0 before TCU even started to play their second game. Isn't that funny how that works? Now they had that week 0 game, of course, in Ireland, and it's parlayed into something really, really good for them. But you're looking at a Big 12 that is still a massive question mark.
We had conference games this weekend.
You did. Houston getting the win against Colorado, not a shock to me. But a 1-2
Houston's better.
But a 1-2 Colorado team, I don't know what to think. How things are going to suddenly get better for them because they don't have a quarterback right now.
That's their third-string quarterback playing in that game. Yeah, Colorado's in trouble. Kansas State.
Eek.
What a disappointment.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer because you have such talent at the quarterback spot, and you wonder what happened. And I like Coach Kleiman a lot. I think that guy is a really good coach, and it's sad to see this happening to him because now, but at the same time, in the same breath, this is a conversation that Mitch Harper and I had on our Big 12 show last week. It was like, I think Arizona wins that game. It's in Tucson. Kansas State is like limping around, and Arizona's going, oh, hey, we can turn a corner here. Arizona's undefeated. They have a better team than they did last year, which is wild to think when they had Ted McMillan in his senior year.
They're already at 3-0. They're halfway to bowl eligibility.
So I think that you're seeing a team. You're seeing teams across the Big 12 and across the country. We see this. Once we get fully out of the garbage games, you're going to start seeing these conference games that are going to mean a lot more, and that's when we can start really handicapping it. I don't know what to think about West Virginia, who lost last week, and then they come in and their quarterback is hurt or their running back is hurt, and they go in there and they win the backyard brawl against Pitt. I mean, that's a massive deal. You saw vintage Rich Rod in the this week and be like, just these guys, man, they love it. It means more to them, And I'm like,
we are West Virginia.
Yeah, stop pretending like you knew that you were going to turn this thing all the way around. But you know what?
He's such a showman.
That's also where rivalry games work. Cincinnati putting 70 up on the board. By the way, they had 56 or 49 at the half. It was
56.
56 at the half.
Yep.
And I didn't know this happened. I forgot that it had happened. When it's that big of a difference at half, big college football takes time off of the clock.
Yeah.
The quarters in the third quarter goes from 15 to 10. Fourth quarter goes 15 to 10. That, like, mercy ruling a team, I don't care if you were Cincinnati. We looked at Cincinnati and went, nah, I don't think that they're going to be anything. Suddenly they're 2-1. Suddenly they look like a little bit better team than we saw last year. So
they pushed Nebraska to the final minute.
Yes. Now, I thought Texas State was going to go and get an upset that they almost had last year against Arizona State. I was dead wrong on that one. I just thought that Arizona State was limping into that game, but desperate Kenny Dillingham pulled it out for his guys over the weekend, and they needed it too. And I think if they were going to be any kind of threat to anybody else in the conference, or to at least try to get to a college football playoff again, it was they had to get this win against Texas State. Texas State is not a slouch of a team. That's why I was looking at them, and I'm like, your UTSAs and your Texas States, they will sneakily put up 50 points against everybody, and they have good offenses. And that
future Pac-12 team.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, so to see Arizona State go in and get that win over the weekend, that was big for them. And so across the board, you had the Big 12 performing the way that they were supposed to. You had teams across the country that have shocked, and the AP polls have done their shifting around, and we'll get into that as well next hour, because where teams are now, what do we actually know about teams? Only 3 or 4 in some cases games into the season. We'll get into that as well. We have our Weekend Warriors coming up as well. Is there a game in there that you looked at and you went, I'm shocked by the result of that one over the weekend?
From the Big 12? I'm surprised that Iowa State only won by 8 against Arkansas State. That was surprising, and it was close the whole way. Iowa State's weird to me. I'm not sold on them yet.
Neither you nor I loved putting them in the top 4 of our preseason polls, because it just felt like they sort of limped into the conference championship game last year.
They're just solid.
Yeah,
but they don't blow me away in any way.
Yeah, they win,
right?
Yeah.
And Kansas State's fall is pretty dramatic, and so you're taking one contender out of that mix. But ultimately, we're starting to get a good picture of who the tiers are in the Big 12. And I think you've got Utah, BYU, Texas Tech, and TCU in that top tier, and Iowa State. I think there's 5 teams in that tier that I believe now can win the conference championship. And just outside of that, you have Baylor lurking in Arizona State. And I think those are the teams that could still win this league. And there's other teams that are trying to get my attention. Arizona's trying to get my attention. Houston's trying to get my attention. But I think once we get into conference play, we'll find out who those teams really are, and they are going to be exactly who we think they are. But those are the tiers that I think are forming right now. But I also think you don't get a day off in this conference.
No.
I think if West Virginia is going to beat Pitt, and I think West Virginia might be at the bottom of the conference. I mean, Oklahoma State's probably the bottom, right? But West Virginia's in that bottom tier. Like, you're going to get a game every time you go out and play on a Saturday. It's going to be tough. Whoever wins this conference is going to be battle-tested, and I think that will help them come playoff time. But the league is good. The league is really healthy right now, and through three weeks of the season, and 4 for Iowa State. A lot of positive things for the Big 12 overall.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We have our Weekend Warriors right around the corner. Don't want to miss any of it. Stay right here, dialed in. We're going to chat with Tom Curl, of course. We're here at the warehouse. That's coming up in just a few minutes. So stay here. Stay dialed in. Let's get you ready for Week 4 of the college football season coming up. So more to go around the corner. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes open up Big 12 play with a huge game against Texas Tech. Catch a special Ute edition of College Football Saturday starting at 8 a.m. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. The Weekend Warriors brought to you by the good folks at Gillette Heating and Air. Right now, get seasonal maintenance done on your furnace for only $59. It's coming up to that time of the year that you don't want to fire that thing up in the next couple of months and have it go kaput before it even starts up. Get those guys from Gillette HVAC to come down. It's $59 to have them come look at it. So get on the schedule, GilletteHVAC.com. How about Bryson Barnes kicking things off? Weekend Warrior, 5 total touchdowns, 3 of them on the ground, 2 of them through the air. That guy is absolutely killing it, and Utah State gets the win thanks to Bryson Barnes and his legs and his arm.
3 receivers split to the far side. Brady Boyd all by himself to the far side. Barnes keeps it himself. Barnes gets a block. He walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Utah State. Bryson Barnes, his second rushing touchdown of the night. And the Aggies pouring it on here in Logan. Receivers on each side. Barnes motions his man to the near side. Barnes keeps it himself. Quarterback draw. He's got a lead blocker. And he's into the end zone. Not 1, not 2, 3 touchdown rushes tonight for Bryson Barnes. And the Aggies are going to beat the Air Force Academy.
How about a 49 burger against Air Force?
Impressive.
Well, but I think you also needed it because I think people were wondering if there's any difference you want to see from last year's team and this year's team. There's a fire situation, right? Like the personnel, I don't think is there 100% yet. I mean, I don't think I'm out of school.
Not where they
that.
Want it to be, but
I mean, you have 86 new guys,
Fair enough.
And trying to dial up everybody to have that level of commitment that Bronco Mendenhall kind of requires at all of his programs. That's a crazy ask, and if you're going to lose against a team for being undisciplined, it's the Air Force Academy, and they had them dialed up. Now, Bronco historically has been really good at dialing up defenses against the Air Force running attack, but they were dialed up on the defensive backfield. They were dialed up. The defense was impressive. The offense scores almost 50 points, and they made it look kind of easy in some parts of the game. You're like, oh, they're dominating this football game, and so that's the kind of stuff. You're 2-1. Now, I don't know how long it took for them to get to their 2 wins last year because at the very least it was a lot of like sputtering, and I don't know how long they're going to sputter. But right now, they're 1-0 conference play, and they played one of the tougher teams that they usually have to face in the Mountain West, which is the Air Force Academy. They got them at home. I think it was a perfect spot for Bronco to get his guys going into conference play.
Yeah, it's the benefit of playing Texas A&M. That makes you better. I think they got a lot of confidence out of that game, even though they lost by 3 touchdowns.
Played an awesome second half, though.
I thought they played well
Yeah.
down at College Station, considering the opponent. Now we see where Texas A&M is now. They just go in and beat Notre Dame. I like where Utah State is at. I see the progress. Are they perfect? No. I think their offensive line is still things to work out there, but they got playmakers. Bryson Barnes is a senior quarterback with leadership, and the defense is much improved. But Jon Miller, he's one of the top sack guys in the country right now. So they have dudes on defense now when last year you couldn't name a guy on defense. So I like what they're doing. I think the Aggies are in a good spot, and they're going to win a lot of games in the league.
How about a team like Georgia Tech that you might have written off? I still don't have them on my bingo card of possible college football playoff teams. Like until further notice, it's just hard to put a Yellow Jackets team up there that we watched win a share of a national title when we were kids. But it was a far cry from who that team was.
Yeah, but they ran the wing team when it was cool to run
right.
the wing team.
Yeah, so this is a Georgia Tech team. I don't know when the luck's going to run out on them, but they get the win over the weekend by going and they hosted Clemson. They get a game winner after Clemson brought this thing all the way back. Here's what it sounded like.
One that's from 55. The snap is off. It is on the way. It's got the distance.
Look at that. Clemson exposed. I think the exposure is complete now. What are they, 1-2 on the year?
Yeah.
Nice.
And that one was against Troy where they were down 16-0
at the half. Yeah.
Clemson is a fraud.
They are way out of the top 25.
And we're still going to have people telling us, "Oh, they're still alive for the college football playoff."
I'm going to make Jon Wilner.
Don't ride off Dabo.
I'm going to bring it up with Jon Wilner. I know that might be at our peril and be like, didn't you have Clemson as your number one team going into the season? I just don't know. It's so hard to guess these teams at the beginning of the year. Who's it going to be?
I mean, there was Joel Klatz out there saying that Klubnik was the best quarterback in the country. Like, they just aren't that level. They're okay.
Lots of stories written about how you don't need NIL to be successful. Look at Clemson, and now everyone's like,
right.
And now their former alumni are like, we don't have players, man.
Right.
We can't.
It's obvious.
We need to buy the players that these other guys are paying for. It's crazy. We'll come back. Next hour, we're going to be jumping in a little bit to some of the AP polls and some of the other polls across the board and some of the people who fell out, some of the people who moved up. Stay right here. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies look for a win this Saturday as they take on McNeese State. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on a Monday. Our show is brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Give it a shot today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other retailers. In the refrigerated section, we love those G2G Bars. We're at the warehouse today. We love the warehouse. It's at 1825 South, 300 West right here in Salt Lake City. Speaking of Costco, you just buy your G2G Bars across the street and then come across the street and buy your mattresses and all your other furniture
Go
needs.
eat it while you're laying on your new mattress.
Yeah, why not? Come over and check it out.
Sounds kind of weird, but you'd enjoy it.
Well, but Tom will let you come over here and kind of test out all the stuff. You sit down here on the showroom floor, lay down on one of the mattresses in the back.
G2G Bars are welcome here.
Come on, hang out with us. Let me see here, JJ. We got to kick off the hour officially. Let's get into the cut here at the top of the hour, and we're going to get into the AP poll, see where we are. This is really a practice in embarrassing ourselves across the country of people who you got right and people who you got wrong. And we're not done with it. It's too early in the year to really know what's going on. But, of course, the polls are part of the necessary evil of what college football is at the beginning of the year. So let's jump in right here with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And, of course, this portion of the show brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith brands of dealerships. All you have to do is go check it out for yourself in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. It's the Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, now Mitsubishi in the family of the Doug Smith dealerships, and, of course, Subaru. So give it a shot today. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Nobody knows college football teams like AP voters. Like, they just get it all right every week. I'm just impressed by how much they know about everything.
There was a wild swing this week, too.
There was. And, look, I'm trying to think of the teams who made the biggest jumps in the polls. And when you see these big jumps, these are the types of swings that happen at the beginning of the year. This is by far the most volatile that the poll has been this entire year because – and nothing really changed in the top three, obviously. 1, 2, 3 still goes Ohio State, Penn State, LSU. Miami goes up to 4. Georgia goes up to 5. Florida goes down, or Oregon, goes down to.
Why did they go down?
I guess
they didn't put enough points on Northwestern. They dominated that game.
That I feel Northwestern is so weird. That stadium is so weird. Where do they play? Evansville, right? It's like right there. It looks like
Evanston,
Evanston, that's what it looks like. It looks like a high school stadium in that place. It feels like it, and I feel like Oregon is there and going, man, this is funky.
They got a road win in conference play, and they dropped 2 spots.
That's fine. Whatever. Again, what did the gal say last week who moved up to Florida after they lost to USF? It'll all even out in the end.
Yeah.
So that's my new mantra for the AP poll. It's going to all even out in the end. At some point, they're going to get respect, I guess, maybe. Florida State, would you have had them? They moved up 3 spots without playing this weekend.
That's weird.
They go to 2-0, or they stay at 2-0, and they go up to number 7 in the country. Texas had a struggle on the struggle bus against UTEP. Arch Manning and Arch Manning's family must be just absolutely.
Utah State played UTEP better than Texas did.
You know what? That's a great point. The Miners showing up down in Austin. Nobody would have thought it would have. What was it, a 27-7 or 27-10?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. They probably should have moved down even more, but they're there at that 8 spot.
Speaking of preseason overhype.
Yes.
Arch Manning, Clemson, Notre Dame.
The problem is it's not even preseason. That poor kid has had to hear it for the last 3 years, right?
It's not fair, and he's a good kid, and it's really not fair what's been thrown on his shoulders.
Illinois stays at 9. Now, here are your biggest shakers across the next 5 spots. You had multiple movings up, okay? Texas A&M goes from 16 to 10. Okay, they beat Notre Dame, so that'll get you there. But they go to 3-0. They move up 6 spots. I don't know about moving into the top 10 after 1 week. Either you were considered a top 10 team or you weren't yet. But
Notre Dame fell 16 spots for losing to a top 15 team.
Yeah, right. And
I'm not here to defend Notre Dame.
No, they're 0-2. And
their losses are to Miami and Texas A&M.
So, but it looks weird, right, to have
16 spots?
But what do? Put them at 12, put them at 16, and then they're still 0-2, and you go, are we kidding here? Again, I'm going to go back to it. It'll all even out in the end. Yeah. We'll see. So that was one of the biggest moves up this week. Oklahoma goes up 2 spots to number 11. Iowa State goes up 2 spots to number 12.
After their struggle against Arkansas State?
I'm actually shocked by Ole Miss. Now, it might be an early, like, hey, you're not playing all the teams that we thought were going to get things done, but Ole Miss is 3-0. They moved up to 13. They might be overrated still. Alabama getting a big win over the weekend. They move up 5 spots. I've never seen a team.
Wisconsin's not very good.
I know. I've never seen a team who just is getting an automatic, like it's Alabama, just move them up 5 spots. Okay,
Right.
we need them in the top 10 as soon as possible.
They shouldn't have moved 5 spots on that win.
Tennessee
It's an unranked win.
Tennessee loses at home to Georgia. They stay 15th.
That's the most sensible. It's the most sensible thing I've seen so far.
Okay, so you like that move because normally it used to be
They choked. They should have won that game.
right. But if you lose against a top 6 team at home, typically you should just be like, I don't care who you are, you're still going to move down.
I could make an argument
they
should have
there.
moved up 2 or 3 spots.
Okay.
Why is Ole Miss moving up 4 spots for
Yeah.
beating Arkansas?
Utah goes up 4 spots to 16.
Well, they
Texas-
beat that juggernaut in Laramie, so makes sense.
You mean Josh Allen's old team?
Josh Allen's
Man, they look good. Every commercial break had Josh Allen's face on it. Didn't you see
know.
that? The NFL's running spots with Josh
Yes.
Allen in it. The University of Wyoming is running spots with Josh Allen, like walking to class and stuff. And you're like, all right, settle down.
Yeah.
Settle down, pokes. They move up. Texas Tech moves up 4 spots, as does Utah, 16-17. Is that about right for them, or do you think that's these are over rankings right now?
I think that's
kinda make
probably
these
where
big-
they should have been ranked.
Probably the
earlier.
beginning. Yeah.
And you're right. There's a lot of correcting going on right now, and I think that Utah and Texas Tech is that correction. But I do think their rankings fit, and I think it says a lot about that meeting coming up on Saturday. This is a big-time game coming up on
So
Saturday.
Georgia Tech goes to 3-0. They beat Clemson, and they don't move up at all. Now, part of that is
they went from unranked all the way to 18.
oh, that's what it was. Yeah, they were unranked, and then
They
go
were
to
not
18.
ranked. They
Yeah,
moved
yeah.
all the way up to the poll, all the way to
I like
18 for beating a team that not really sure is that good.
Yeah, I don't know if they are either, but I will say that
That is an overcorrection.
that's an overcorrection. Indiana goes up 3 spots to
For
19.
beating who?
Again, they are subject to, hey, you didn't blow it, and teams in front of you lost, and you'll be moving up.
Do you know who's finally going to pay for their crimes on Saturday?
Signetti? What? Who?
Indiana. Illinois is going to beat them.
Oh, yeah. No, I think so too.
They're finally going to have to play a good team, and they're not ready for it.
It's been a while.
That'll be on NBC, by the way.
How
KSL.
about Diego Pavia and your guys, the Vanderbilt
win.
Commodores?
Guess who's playing them in 2 weeks? Bryson Barnes and Utah State.
Oh, that's right. Nate Johnson's old team.
That's right.
Vanderbilt's up to 20th. I know you probably had that on the bingo board. Was it Theo Vaughn who's got to go on a date with Diego Pavia's mom now? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. That's
He
funny.
made the bet, if we win this game, you have to go on a date with my mom. Theo Vaughn's like, yeah, man, I guess I'm going to date her.
Oh, man.
He's going on a date with
He'll
Diego
show her a good
Pavia's
time.
mom. Oh, my goodness. Michigan at 21. They're up 2 spots. Auburn up 2 spots to 22. That's a team that I still don't think is – I think that they're fake still. I think Hugh Freeze I'm waiting for that shoe to drop.
It will.
I know they beat Baylor, and Baylor actually looks tougher than we thought, but my goodness. Missouri to 22 or to 23. Notre Dame falls all the way to 24. And then USC has cracked the top 25. Boy, the voters were begging to put those guys in. Now, if you're wondering about the others receiving votes, yes, BYU is right there on the edge there at that same exact. Now, I will say, too, I think they had 94 votes last week, too. So they're staying at the right spot. Look, you didn't play a game. You don't need to move up just because people lost, all right? South Florida moves out of the top 25 after they were in it for 5 seconds. But, of course, they lost to a very good Miami team right now. So we'll see how this thing shakes out. Here's going to be some big movement over the next few weeks. And I'm looking at the Big 12 at this, and I'm thinking, okay, BYU, TCU, Arizona State, all of them are going to have the opportunity to move up and into the top 25 in the next 3 weeks. You get a couple of wins. BYU, if they win next week, they're likely going to be in. If TCU wins big next week, they will likely see them move up almost into the top 25 or close therein. Arizona State is back on track after that win against Texas State, so we'll see. If they can keep that thing going, they'll be in the top 25. Right now, the Big 12 has Texas Tech, Utah, and Iowa State in the top 25. Only 3 teams in the top 25 for the Big 12. That's not enough. You've got to prove yourself a little bit better. But I do think that the quality of those teams right now is looking really, really good compared to some of these other conferences.
Well, but the ACC only has 2, right? Am I getting that right? It's Miami and Florida State,
Well,
and
you
that's
count,
it. Who else?
You count Notre Dame in the ACC technically in your head?
I do not.
Okay.
Oh, I guess Georgia Tech has now moved in.
Yes.
So Georgia Tech replaces Clemson, so they remain at 3. 3-3. I mean, it's just it's frustrating looking at the top 25.
A couple poverty P4 conferences right now.
It just feels
in the top 25.
like if you're in the Big Ten and the SEC, you're in. I mean, how many? It's crazy. I mean, USC hasn't done anything, so it is early though. Everything will shake itself out. But the AP poll is a funny study, man. The overcorrecting and the stuff that's going on. Again, I don't want to apologize for Notre Dame at all. I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but dropping 16 spots after losing to a really good Texas A&M team doesn't make a lot of sense. And Florida State moving up 3 spots to number 7 in the country after playing nobody doesn't make any sense either. So make it make sense, AP top 25.
So in the I hadn't even thought about it, but the coaches poll, I don't know if there's a lot of movement in that. I don't know if you even care about it.
Yeah, there was. I mean, South Carolina dropped down 14 spots, Notre Dame 13 spots.
Yeah.
The biggest mover was Texas A&M moving up 7 spots.
BYU was
10.
in the coaches poll, but then they found themselves on the outside, I think, because they just didn't play. But BYU, Arizona State, and let me see here. But there are a lot of teams in here that I think are still showing some life that are going to be there by the end of it. I think Texas Tech is proving to be pretty darn good. Utah, I think, is as solid as it gets of a team in the Big 12. I just think that Iowa State, that shoe's probably going to drop, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you look at Iowa State and think that they're going to maintain that?
I can't
because
see
if they're winning at this rate in a few weeks,
they're winning close games right now. And Arkansas State shouldn't have been a close game. An 8-point game against Arkansas State, that's a red flag to me. It's a red flag.
I do think that Iowa State isn't necessarily at that level that they need to be at, but I do wonder, too, as the AP poll goes through here, if Utah beats Texas Tech this weekend and they're being treated like the other teams who have won against higher-ranked teams and high-ranked teams in the AP top 25, where should Utah go after this week if they get a win over Texas Tech? Of any kind. Let's say they win by 2 touchdowns. Let's say they win by 1 touchdown, but it's there in Salt Lake and it's against a team that is ranked right next to you in the AP poll. Where should Utah go if they get a win against Texas Tech this week?
It will probably have a lot to do with what happens in front of them, but let's say, for instance, Iowa State's upset by Arizona. Why not put Utah all the way at number 12? Replace Iowa State with Utah there. Do I see them getting above Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Illinois if they beat Indiana? Probably not. So that's probably the ceiling, is moving up to 12, and that's only 4 spots. So somewhere in that mix there. I need to look at the schedules of the teams in front of them. Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee are the other teams after Iowa State. But I could see them moving up 4 spots to number 12 if things go their way and then some of the results come back in their favor.
Okay. I think it is one of those times when if we're looking at the AP poll and what the movement is going to end up being over the next couple of weeks, Week 4, Week 5, Week 6 is when I think it starts to get legit and starts to get more of what we should expect from these teams and more of a reality of what these rankings are. So we're looking forward to it. Of course, this weekend in Salt Lake is going to be one of those where we're able to really have a litmus test of what these teams are made of across the board here. Come back. We've got more to go around the corner. Yes, Deshaun Foster's exit from UCLA has people talking about the possibility of coaches who are going to fill that void. At the top of the list, at least in one ESPN article, is Kalani Sitake. We'll talk about it next right here at 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars head east for a huge non-conference showdown against East Carolina. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. We are so glad to have you on the program here with us. Happy Monday. We hope your weekend was awesome. Listen, we're having a pretty good year so far. It's early, but it's a pretty good year so far with the college football teams that are doing as well as they can. And man, it's just –
it could be worse. You could be UCLA.
Now, this is the point I wanted to make, all right? Things aren't always greener, or in this case, powder bluer. Deshaun Foster loses his gig, and I feel bad for Deshaun Foster, not in a pity way, in a way that this is a picture of what UCLA athletics is right now.
It would be like BYU hiring Jamal Williams to be their head coach and then firing him 2 years later.
It'd be doing that after their coach left unexpectedly at the very end of the hiring cycle.
Right.
So a desperate move to hire a former player who has only coached at the GA level and at the running backs position coach level. And that's not to diss on Deshaun Foster. You know what he got? Was a dog of a situation with a bad support system at a UCLA school that shouldn't have a bad support system, but they've lost their way when it comes to prioritizing sports, when it comes to what it should look like at the level that they should be at in the Big Ten. Remember when they left the Big Ten and everybody looked at UCLA and USC and went, well, we know who they're looking for that group, right? It was USC and a combo deal with UCLA, okay? Now, both brands are significant. Now, USC obviously bigger, but from a basketball perspective, and the Big Ten is a basketball conference too. It is a super basketball conference. Adding UCLA was a no-brainer.
UCLA is good at a lot of things, just not football right now.
And it's not just not football. It's like they are bad, and they are going to be lost for a while. The way that
boat raced by New Mexico in the Rose Bowl.
New Mexico
absolutely clubbed.
Took a $1.2 million check, which is now the largest amount that anybody's ever been paid and then actually won the game for.
Wow.
Paid games, there are only a handful that are more than what New Mexico played for. But to beat a team and get that money, that's the largest amount of money that had ever been paid out to a team. The most embarrassing fashion ever. The memes that I saw of New Mexico going to the athletic department looking for their check, and it was like, these guys like doing these like little dances to go as they walk in to collect their check to be a bona fide loser. Nico Iamaleava has I don't know if there's a worse situation. Look at what Tennessee's doing. Look at the guy
with
UCLA's former quarterback. Joey Aguilar goes in there and goes, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And, yeah, they lose against Georgia at home in overtime. But you're at Rocky Top. You're in a place where they force good things to happen if things aren't going well. They figure out a way. UCLA hasn't figured out a way in a long, long time. Now, here's the thing. A few years ago, it was rumored that when this whole thing went down with Chip Kelly, when he left UCLA late in the coaching cycle and went to Ohio State as the offensive coordinator. And by the way, this is how the coaching world works. He already parlayed that national championship winning season last year into being an OC in the league now already, which is where he probably wanted to be the whole time, right? There's no way he wanted to be a head coach down in UCLA. There's no way. But Kalani Sitake's name was thrown around a few years ago, and ESPN threw his name out there again. Is there any chance in a world where BYU now, even just from 2 years ago, is at a very different spot, I think, for the football program? Is there any world where Kalani Sitake listens with an intent ear to another program who comes a-calling?
Not UCLA.
Especially during the middle of a season.
There may be some other programs he would listen to, not UCLA. Everybody out in coaching circles knows it's a dumpster fire. Everybody knows the president doesn't care about football.
You're not going to get the
support. You're not going to get the NIL. You're not going to get the support. It's a mess. And just to show you how big of a mess it is, they're just having a committee of like the same people that made other hires do it again. Just UCLA people. They're not looking outside the box. They're not trying to be creative. They're not really looking across the country. They're just going to hire another UCLA person. It's not a good situation. So this is not it for Kalani. You're going to hear rumors about it because people are going to try to put it out there. UCLA may have interest in him. UCLA is going to try to keep their fan base happy by throwing out all these names that they're interested in. So you're going to hear more names come out in the media as they go through the process. But there's no way Kalani Sitake seriously considers becoming the head coach at UCLA and leaving what he has right now at BYU. It's never been better to be the head coach at BYU. Never. He finally has the support he needs for his staff. He's got great assistants.
Presumably he's getting paid legit now.
Right? I would actually think a name at BYU that would get more run and actual would be
Jay Hill.
Would be realistic as Jay Hill.
Yeah.
Now, he's had an FCS head coaching job and did a phenomenal job at Weber State. Phenomenal. So he hasn't had that Power 4 job or even that Group of 5 job as a head coach. But if I'm UCLA and I was thinking outside the box and I want to form an identity and I want to get at least one side of the ball shored up, I'm going Jay Hill. He already knows all the recruiting spots on the West. He's a phenomenal recruiter. He can go get the staff that you need to be successful. Be patient. Go get somebody like Jay Hill to run your program. I don't think they're smart enough. I don't think they can think outside of the box to do that. So I think he's safe as well. And I don't know if Jay Hill would want to leave BYU right now. He's a Utah guy, meaning he's from Utah. He wants to be here. He's turned down other opportunities outside of the state to stay here and stay home because that's where his family wants to be. It would take a lot to pull Jay Hill away too. I don't think BYU fans have anything to worry about. I would be shocked and stunned if there's even an interview taken for that UCLA job by either Kalani Sitake or Jay Hill.
Brian Santiago in the offseason, when he was hired as the athletic director, what did he say? He didn't bring up Kevin Young first. He brought up Kalani first.
Because he wanted to make sure, because he's a basketball guy, he wanted to make sure everybody knows I'm all in on football,
football
too.
Guy.
I get it. I understand what pays the bills.
Right, and I also think that he legitimately understands that to the point that he goes, I'm not just saying it for show. Like, we're putting our money where our mouth is. We don't know the terms of how much he was extended or how long or how much he got extended with. But I think we're at the point now where people are expecting that BYU is going to be right there on par with what the pay is for coaches that are in the Big 12 that are doing a pretty darn decent job. And by the way, a guy whose tenure is now into a decade of coaching at BYU, and that the best growth that has happened during that time has happened while he was the head coach, in terms of exposure, in terms of the NIL stuff, in terms of. And a lot of that has to do with the university making a commitment that we're watching other universities not do.
Yeah.
One of those is UCLA. One of those is Stanford. A handful, Clemson is one of those that makes an investment at a crazy money level, but is not making the jump fully when it comes to the NIL stuff, when it comes to hitting the transfer portal in earnest and being smart about, no, this person can make our team better. Not just that's not a committed kid. If he's in the transfer portal, I'm over it. That's an old school way of looking at it. And I think that a guy like Kalani Sitake, there's no way that he leaves to go to UCLA. Is it impossible that he leaves BYU and takes a head coaching job somewhere else? No. But I think you're exactly right. This is never going to be the play for him. I know that they could maybe make it look flowery, get him down to LA after the season's over, and to make some sort of a pitch to him down there at Westwood. But there's no stinking way that Kalani would want to go to UCLA and pick up the pieces. Some people like a project, but like Urban Meyer wouldn't even take this job.
I could see Bronco Mendenhall taking it on, that type of a coach. I don't know where they turn. I really don't.
Could you imagine Bronco coming to Utah State for 1 year, too, and then going, anyway, my wife and I are making the move to L.A. We've always loved it there. We're going to take our horses down there.
Probably not a good culture fit, right?
Yeah.
Bronco in L.A., probably not a good fit.
At the same time.
Bronco's right where he needs to be.
We'll see.
I know we're kind of making fun of it.
But money talks?
What is UCLA going to do? What are they going to do? What's the match? What's the coach out there? Because they're going to think big. They got to go out and get the big name. They got to win the press conference. Then hopefully it's with UCLA ties and go get one of their guys or get a big name. That's not going to solve their problems. They have problems bigger than what the head coach is, and they've got to solve those problems first.
Is there a quality retread out there?
Successful.
Is there a quality retread out there, JJ, we could have them jump on? Anybody?
I think UNLV already hired one of those. Who's the talking head on TV right now that's looking for a job?
Hugh Freeze gets fired from Auburn, and then he takes the UCLA job. Now, that's the kind of move that I would see UCLA doing because they're that dumb. Oh, Gruden. Gruden wants to get our producer Alex Napolis yelling out.
Hey, yeah, that's a good
Here's
idea.
how you got to run an offense if you're going to be in Los Angeles. It's interesting. It's even too big of a mess for John Gruden, though, I think. I don't know, though.
Could they pull Chris Peterson out of retirement?
Hey, Peterson.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peterson. You want to come over here and coach with me over there? L.A., Los Angeles. No,
I'm just trying to think of that big name out there that's available.
They've never done the big name. They really haven't. Chip Kelly was like, when he took that job,
he was no commodity.
Yeah, but he had come off of some crap years in the NFL where he was looked at like not the old guy at Oregon who won games. He was looked at as the old busted.
Do they rehire Rick Neuheisel?
Oh, my goodness. No, absolutely not. All right. Let's take a break. Neuheisel, was he the head coach when BYU beat them 59-0?
Oh, yes, he was. I think Norm Chow was the offensive coordinator, too. Am I misremembering?
Old Max
Neuheisel
Hall
was definitely the coach.
Old Max Hall with a decent day against the Bruins there down in Provo.
They pulled Jim Moore out of UConn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He coached at UCLA for 5 years.
Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, again, retreads, old names, people who aren't getting it done anymore.
Did you know technically Jed Fish was the head coach?
Really?
For 1 game or 2 games at UCLA.
Interim?
Yeah, for Jim Moore. After he was fired. That's funny.
No, I could see Jed Fish leaving Seattle immediately, going down to UCLA.
Oh, heck
too.
no. Nobody wants this job. Nobody wants it.
It's a joke. All right, we'll come back. We are at the warehouse, 1825 South 300 West. Deals are piling up here. And Tom's going to roll out some big ones next as well. So he's going to come on. We're going to get some deals going. We'll get you out of here with some amazing deals on mattresses and for sofas and love seats and for any of the accoutrement when it comes to furniture. So we'll be right here. More to go around the corner at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Basking in the sports misfortune of others to help make you feel just a little bit better about yourself. As JJ and Alex present,
yes, we got beat. We got beat badly.
It sucks to be you.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on a beautiful Monday. We appreciate you joining the show. Hey, if you were listening to DJ and PK this morning, then you would have heard them giving out the Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealer play of the weekend. And what they do is they give out that play, and then if you're able to parrot it back to us, what that play was that they gave out on their show, then we're going to give you an Amazon gift card just for your troubles. So just tell us what it is. You don't have to be calling number 12 or anything. Just call. Tell our producer, Alex, what that play is, and then you'll be able to get that gift card from Amazon because you know what it is. It's all brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealers. The fastest-growing full-line brand is your Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealers. Just call 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663. And there you go. Sucks to be Deshaun Foster. We went over that a little bit. It still sucks to be Deshaun Foster.
That's
although
tough.
There's part of me that goes, man, that dude is probably going, phew. They got to pay me out, and I get to walk away. Now, I know that my name's going to be dragged through the mud. People are going to look at me.
His alma mater. He's a UCLA hero.
Yeah, but the glory days of UCLA, were they ever around, now that I think about it?
You'd have to go way back to the 90s.
So there's that. We already got through
90s.
That.
Troy Aikman years.
Sucks to be Clemson for losing to Georgia Tech. I get that. Georgia Tech's a pretty decent team, though. I think that it actually sucks worse to be South Carolina, who was pubbed and hyped so much, and they got their butts absolutely handed to them this week.
Clemson wasn't pubbed and hyped? They got 2 losses already.
Yeah.
Their chances of a college football playoff are pretty much dead.
Close to zilch. Yep. Yeah. I would say, too, sucks to be Arch Manning for all of the hatred that kid's getting over everything, right? Sucks to be –
It can't be easy to be Arch Manning.
No. Sucks to be Bengals fans who found out today when they woke up that Joe Burrow – or not even fans. How about our producer, Alex Napolis, who had him as his fantasy quarterback?
That's even more devastating for people across the country.
He pulled a that's my quarterback. Move on me today, and I went, oh yeah.
No.
Sorry
about that.
Joe Burrow, he ruined your fantasy. He ruined your fantasy league. Oh, no. Joe Burrow,
Jake
obviously.
Browning will save you, Alex. Jake Browning will save you.
Is that the backup?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Husky.
He led him to a win yesterday.
I'm a Washington Husky guy.
He got it done.
Come on, man.
Jamar Chase is a receiver, and he'll make any quarterback look good.
Okay. I was going to say, though, aside from all those people who it currently sucks to be, does it suck to be the Chiefs who are now 0-2?
That's a problem. Have you looked at their schedule?
I will say, too, the NFL is not kind historically to teams who start the season off 0-2. The playoff picture gets very bleak even just after 2 games if you're 0-2.
Yeah, and if you get to 0-3, you're pretty much toast.
It's not impossible, but it's not an easy hill to climb. And I will say, in an AFC West where your Broncos are starting to be a little bit
I'm not going to talk about yesterday.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about it. What a garbage call that was.
Oh, here it comes.
Fake. That's a fake rule.
It's
a fake rule.
What was it called? Leveraging.
Leveraging? On a 60-yard field goal attempt?
That was my favorite, was to watch that Colt mascot fall down all sad, just because he's used to it, you know?
Oh, that's what I had so much joy, and then there's a flag. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me.
It's the best.
And it's not just a 5-yard penalty. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, 45-yard chip shot, no problem.
And that's exactly what happened. Gosh dang it.
Yeah,
Can we talk about how the Chiefs suck?
Sucks to be Broncos.
By the way, the Giants, they play the Giants next, which doesn't feel like
let me ask you this.
Slam dunk.
So wait, now the Monday night games is it the Chargers Vikings tonight? Is that
No, the Vikings Falcons was last night. You got Chargers Raiders.
Oh no, not Vikings.
And you've got Texans Bucks.
Chargers Raiders. So they're battling for supremacy at the top of the AFC West. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's exactly what we're hearing. Which
the 0-2
sucks to be the Broncos too. Apparently,
you haven't been able to say the 0-2 Chiefs at the very bottom of the
Isn't
AFC
that
West.
crazy?
The
Raiders are playing at home tonight in Vegas. They could be 2-0 and leading the division tonight.
That's bonkers. Don't give Lloyd that kind of hope, though. Okay, I'm sure he probably heard it and he's like, "Darn you, JJ, give me hope."
Lloyd went home for the day.
All right. We'll come back. Jon Wilner going to join us next. He, of course, is one of those AP voters. We're going to make him answer to the Clemson dilemma, which he had that team at number 1 before the season started. Much more across the world of college football as well. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes open up Big 12 play with a huge game against Texas Tech. Catch a special Ute edition of College Football Saturday starting at 8 a.m. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. It's another edition of JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the program. Yes, this is your home of the Utah Jazz, your home of the Utah Mammoth. And, of course, college football is just top of mind. We've got so many things going on across the entire world of sports. Over the next month and a half, we are going to be busy here at the station. Cannot wait for all of it when we start to figure out what these teams really are here locally in the world of college football. Our show brought to you by the great folks at the G2G Bars. G2G Bar, perfect protein bar. Give it a shot today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other retailers. In the refrigerated section, we've got to get to Jon Wilner. He's, of course, an AP Top 25 voter. He also writes for Mercury News and the AP and gives us all of his insights across the world of college football. We'll jump in right here with the cut, top of the hour.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. For all your trusted local needs in retirement, it is Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com is Trajan Wealth. He is Jon Wilner. He joins us on the program. Jon, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We're still scratching our heads on how to figure out this college football landscape. It's early. When do you think, and you're an AP voter, but when do you think the reality is of what we find out who teams are really during a season?
Usually first week or two of October, I feel like you can kind of get a handle on it. It's so hard the first, half of September, first 3 weeks of September, because the schedules are imbalanced, right?
Yeah.
You got a Penn State. They've played Nevada and Florida International, right? Meanwhile, Notre Dame's played A&M and Miami. Some teams have played 4 games. Some have played 2. You got the byes to consider. It's really hard. Once conference play starts, and that's a little bit different for everybody, but by, first, second week of October, I think you usually get a feel for who's, going to be in the top half of the conference races.
After 3 weeks nationally, who's been the biggest surprise to you and the biggest disappointment?
Biggest surprise? Oh boy, good question. Georgia Tech would be
it's a good one.
Close. Vanderbilt. Both those teams had good seasons last year, and Georgia Tech obviously played that 8 overtime game against Georgia, but they just beat Clemson and they went to Colorado and beat the Buffs. Vanderbilt looks good too. So those will be 2 of them. I don't think I expected Florida State to be as good, at least as they looked against Alabama. Downside surprises, Clemson a little bit, to be honest. Certainly Georgia Tech and LSU are good, but they haven't been nearly as elite as I thought. Arch Manning has been a little bit of disappointment, in terms of a specific player. He had tons of hype, obviously. But, boy, he just doesn't look like – not only doesn't look comfortable, but, man, his mechanics are bad, bad. So those would be a couple. I think Colorado is going to be not as good as a lot of people thought. And you do wonder about Deion's, the health situation. So those would be a few, but you could also list 10 or 12 in each category.
Yeah. If you see these teams that, the top 25 always gives us, a crazy kind of look at it. And Clemson, I know, is high on your board. I know you had them. I think you put them in the top at number 1 in your top 25. But what is it that they are lacking? Like when you look at Clemson and you go, okay, this was a team that, was supposed to kick the trend of not buying into the NIL stuff or the transfer portal stuff that everybody else was, but still able to put together some massive talent. Is this like more of a wake-up call for Dabo Swinney, or do you think it's one of those things where it's just the luck of how bad or how tough their schedule was at the front end here?
Well, it has been tough. I had Clemson as my preseason number 1 because I thought they were going to win the national championship. And they still might. We'll see. But certainly, LSU is clearly really good. And the Georgia Tech game, they lost on a field goal in the last second, right? But I think Kate Klubnik has not been as sharp as I had expected, for sure. They were without their best receiver for the LSU game. That hurt. But they certainly have not been, the dominant force on defense that I was expecting. I mean, they've got 3 or 4 guys that are supposed to be first, second day picks in the NFL draft. And they had a hard time stopping Georgia Tech's running game. And that was a surprise to me.
Big 12. I think we all figured it's going to be a crazy race. We've already seen some league games already. What's your takeaway so far and what you're seeing in the Big 12?
Big 12 is very Big 12. There's going to be 2 or 3 teams that are upside surprises and 2 or 3 that are, downside disappointments. It's the nature of the league. It's not having any Georgias or Ohio States in the conference, and that's what makes it fun to me. So far, Arizona has been better than I expected. Kansas State has been worse than I expected. I have no idea about BYU, to be honest. They played – Stanford's kind of a cupcake, so they played 2 cupcakes. I really don't know how good they're going to be, and I'm not sure we're going to get an answer this week, to be honest. Utah looks very good, which you thought was going to be the case, although, I don't know, the offense – if I'm a Utah fan, I'd be a little bit concerned about the offense I saw in the first half against Wyoming, going up against Texas Tech this weekend. But they should be good. We'll see about BYU, and the rest of the Big 12 is just mayhem.
Well, and I don't know if that means that they're any good as a conference, to be honest, because of how when you say mayhem and the parity. I mean, it's not to say – But I will say, too, I think the SEC is a little bit nervous, not because of the Big 12, but because they don't have right now the top part of the conference that has always been so dominant doesn't feel as dominant. And what you don't want is for everybody to be pretty good in any conference.
That's true. It's possible that Georgia is really, really good. The one thing I will say is that really, at this point, the only metric I think that is valid is how the power conferences are doing against each other, right? There's not that many games, but that does give us some kind of insight. And the Big 12's actually done pretty well. Big 12 is 6-6 against the ACC, Big 10, and SEC. So that's the Big Ten is also, they're 5-5 in those kind of matchups. So the Big 12 is holding its own. The SEC is 10-2. Alabama's lost to Florida State, and Texas has lost to Ohio State on the first day. They have won 10 games against the other 3 conferences since then. They have beaten everybody's doors off. And that includes Mississippi State, picked last in the SEC, beat ASU, defending Big 12 champs. Now, I think Mississippi State's better this year than they were, and I don't know if ASU is quite as good, but that gives you an idea of how deep the SEC is, and that performance is going to play a role when it comes to picking the playoff teams.
A lot of eyeballs are going to be on Salt Lake City this weekend as the Utes host Texas Tech, 16 versus 17. Big noon kickoff. It's going to be a lot of hype. We had this circled on the calendar coming into the season as a game that could set the tone for the entire Big 12. What are your thoughts on this game, and how do you see it going?
Yeah, it certainly is potentially a very big game. I do think, you kind of go back to last year, and I want to say it was this week last year Utah went to Oklahoma State for what we thought was going to be a defining game, and look what happened. So you never know, but it certainly seems like both Utah and Texas Tech are going to be in the race to the end. I don't think Texas Tech is going to be, rattled by the environment at Rice-Eccles. Baron Morton is a very experienced quarterback, and he's got guys out of the transfer portal who can really make plays. So I'm going to be curious how Utah's defense holds up on the back end against, Texas Tech's passing game, and a lot of that will depend on how much pressure the Utes can generate. On the other side, we'll see about Devin Dampier throwing the ball down the field accurately. To me, that was what stood out in the first half against Wyoming is, they just didn't seem to be stretching the field much. And they're going to have to do that, I think, if they're going to get through the Big 12, in shape to potentially make the playoff.
Yeah, and Coach Whittingham is I think he drools over these long drives, but you're right. They haven't had the explosive plays that, might be defining of a super team who can put the ball down the field whenever they want. Instead, they like that grinding it out type of a game plan, and certainly that for Kyle Whittingham, he loves that kind of style. But as you look across the teams that have won and lost so far, I think people look at a team like Texas and they look at Arch Manning, who has not looked good. Is there a way that Texas crawls back into that conversation of the national championship discussion, or is it just one of those things where you go, they've got to fix that kid at number 16 in the pocket back there before they have any kind of discussion about that?
Well, I think certainly they do need to get Arch figured out. There's no doubt about that. But with the playoff, the way the playoff is, one loss right now doesn't, you're fine. Texas is fine for the playoff. They can afford probably another loss, and depending on who it comes to, they might even be able to afford 2 more losses, right? I could easily see a scenario where, a 3-loss team from the SEC gets in. But, yeah, they got to fix him. Well, one other thing that is kind of important to that whole calculation is Notre Dame, right? Because if Notre Dame – they got 2 losses. It's going to be hard for Notre Dame to make the playoff. I think they probably got to win out. Their schedule is not very strong, but it's still hard to win 10 games in a row. And if Notre Dame doesn't make it, then there's an extra spot available, and that could be the 4th team in the SEC that has 3 losses. It could be a second team in the Big 12 or a second team in the ACC that's got 2 or 3 losses. It is a numbers game. There are 7 at-large spots, and if Notre Dame takes one of them, it gets really tight for the power conference at-large teams.
Wanted to check in with you on the Mountain West / Pac-12 right now. Some interesting storylines there. First, Utah State had a nice win over Air Force. They look like they're going to be better this year than we thought. Boise State seems to be not as good, obviously, as we thought. What have you seen so far that gives you any indication who might be the teams to beat in the Mountain West? Because it feels wide open right now.
It does feel wide open, and, that's another case of different disparity in schedules. Some teams have played more games than others. I'll tell you what, I think New Mexico is pretty good.
Yeah.
UCLA obviously has got a lot of problems, but the Lobos, went to Ann Arbor, and that was a 10-point game in the Big House, like in the fourth quarter. So and he is an excellent coach, Jason Eck. So I wouldn't be surprised if New Mexico's in it. Boise, Colorado State, they played well at Husky Stadium for 3 quarters. We'll see what Bronco does. I'm not sure Bronco's got enough players to kind of stay in it for the whole season. But the Mountain West actually looks pretty good, and it's had some good wins. Obviously, UNLV is going to be a factor. It should be a really entertaining conference this year, based on what we've seen the first few weeks.
What's going on with Oregon State? We followed that program closely while Utah was in the Pac-12. They recruited this area heavily. There's some alumni here. To see what's happening right now with Oregon State, Washington State to a lesser degree, but why is Oregon State struggling so badly outside of the obvious things with dropping down to from the Power 4 level?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure they got the right coach. Trent Bray had never been a head coach before. He 1 or 2 years as a coordinator. He's an alum, and they hired him quickly after Jonathan Smith left for Michigan State. And there's a lot of evidence to suggest that he's not quite ready for this. Kind of like there was evidence to suggest that Sean Foster was not ready for UCLA. So I think that's a big part of it. They got a good quarterback. Malik Murphy can play. That guy was at Texas and Duke, and that's the key, the starting piece, right? And he's pretty good compared to what Oregon State could expect. So I think a lot of it, honestly, is about coaching.
Jon Wilner, college football writer for Mercury News. You can also read his byline for the AP, and he's an AP Top 25 voter. John, thanks for being with us, man. We'll chat with you again, and good luck the rest of the season here as we all try to guess as to what these teams are going to shake out to be. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for having me.
There you go. That's a tough thing to try to call. I applaud the effort of trying to explain, like, hey, Clemson, they still might be in that national championship game. Watch out. That's a little tough to do now. I mean, 1-2. And I know you haven't gotten any.
If they were the SEC, I would see it because ESPN would try to make it happen.
Yeah,
but they're not.
I think there's a way where ESPN likes a team like Clemson in that last conversation too. If they go 10, if they end up being 10-2 and they go to the ACC championship game, and they win, then the answer's already solved.
What did we talk about before the season with Clemson? Oh, easy schedule. If they beat LSU in game 1, they're going to win out.
Yeah.
They haven't. They're 1-2, and they were down 16-0 to Troy. I just don't think that's a playoff team. I think it's pretty obvious. I think there's more losses on the way.
Stay here. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. You know what that music means, of course. It's our NFL Blitz. Quite a heavy schedule in the NFL yesterday, JJ, before I get into it, though. So Big Noon Kickoff's coming to Salt Lake. I don't know if you heard that.
No idea. Nobody told me.
But, of course, along with Big Noon Kickoff comes Dave Portnoy and the president, El Presidente of Barstool Sports. And maybe of more fame than Dave Portnoy's picks on Big Noon Kickoff, because it's kind of a new gig for him.
Yeah,
is his pizza picking prowess. Now he has a very specific pizza that he goes to because he said he's coming to Utah for that. So he tweeted out, "I'm coming to Utah for the very first time. I admit I'm excited. Don't have high hopes for pizza, however." And then he said, "You never know, though." And I would say he has a very specific. I've watched a million of his pizza reviews. One bite. Everybody knows the rules.
Yeah.
And don't bother putting the pie in the comment section. Don't bother putting any kind of like pizza that has a million toppings on it. Don't bother putting like a niche, like even like Slackwater that's like, it's got like a lot of crazy different.
No artisan pizzas.
No. He wants like a straightforward
New York slice.
New York slice that you can kind of half full, but it's still crunchy.
Who has the best New York slice?
I don't know.
Utah?
That I don't know. Ask Michael Scott. I don't know. Go over to City
That's
Creek.
at the airport.
Go over to City Creek.
I know where to get that.
Go over to Sparrow.
You can get that at the airport.
You go over to the City Creek at lunchtime. You get yourself a nice New York slice. And I guess maybe that's what I'm opening it up for people to help us understand is if you know already what type of pizza that he rates on his site,
yeah,
the pie's not it. That doesn't mean that we don't love it here.
Oh my gosh,
it's in its own category. Just the same way that he eats Chicago style pizza and he doesn't rate it the same way because he likes it. It's not this, but it's not pizza to him, right?
Right.
So that's what I was wondering is if people could dip in, tell us what it is, then maybe because you don't want to embarrass. We don't want to embarrass ourselves.
We have to rate high. We love to impress people.
Do we have a pizza place here that is
especially people for the
that
first
could
time.
deliver an 8 or more on
boy.
Dave Portnoy's scale? That would be
somebody get on Twitter and get at him because he's got to find the right place.
And then
it's got to be the right
and then
place.
they would sell out forever, and you'd never be able to go there.
Utah,
anyway. So
we
it's
get
always,
one shot.
Come
to
on,
impress El Presidente.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people are saying keep your reviews somewhere else. We'll take our own pizza over here. We don't need you. A lot of that too.
Fair enough.
Before we get into our NFL Blitz here, of course, I did want to get into a couple things. One, my rundown, of course, is just decided to have a little bit of a refresh. It's taking a little bit of a vacation. Hans and Scotty, by the way, are going to be at Sound Sleep Medical tomorrow, okay, up in Sandy, 8941 South and 7th East in Sandy. It is Sound Sleep Medical, so you can go find Hans and Scotty tomorrow for their program. All right. Your most impressive locals in the NFL this week.
Oh,
and
man, what a week.
I got to see Tyler Algier walk into the end zone after he had done a ton of work on that final drive there and then broke the back at the very end of the Vikings. Are you surprised the Vikings were that flat? Were you surprised the Falcons came out and absolutely punched the Vikings at their place in the mouth?
So the Falcons actually aren't that good. How many field goals did they kick last night?
With the guy who didn't even know who half their team was?
That game was gross last night.
When it was 15-6, I looked at my wife and I said, "Hey, I can't have a Sunday night football game ends in only field goals. So at least they got a touchdown from Tyler.
At least they got a touchdown from Tyler Algier, and Tyler looks great. But the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy, this is not going to go well for the Vikings.
McCarthy, by the way, out 2 to 4 weeks with that ankle.
Right. So now we're going to Carson Wentz, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to make of the Vikings. I don't think they're very good. McCarthy found a way in the fourth quarter against a bad Bears team last week to get them a win. But moving forward, it feels like the Packers are the team to beat in that division. We'll see if the Lions are for real or not. But the Packers certainly looked the part. And Jordan Love is a big reason why. Chris Brooks, also former BYU Cougar, had 3 catches for 27 yards out of their backfield. But Jordan Love looks phenomenal. Everything about the Packers right now looks great. And I think that Jordan's going to have a big year for the Packers. Hopefully he stays healthy.
Puka Nacua with a nice 45-yard run.
Puka's already off to a great start. He has almost 20 catches in 2 games.
That's great.
I mean, he's already having that type of year, and he had that 45-yard run on a 4th down. He had a 4th and 1. They go end around with Puka, similar to what he used to do at BYU, and he just has a knack for getting around to the edge and then turning upfield and turning on the jets. He can fight his way through tackles, and then he can take off at a very high rate.
He's a big body,
he's
a bigger
so
body,
hard.
A bigger body than you think to take down.
Oh, he's tight end size, tight end strength, wide out speed. He's so challenging of a matchup for any team, and he showed it last night. And the Rams are 2-0. Rams look pretty good. No one's talking about the Rams because they haven't done it pretty, but they're getting it done, and Puka's a big part of that.
So I was watching too because it looks like Jaden Daniels' knee. He could be up. He could be out multiple weeks depending on what they get back on all the imaging today. J.J. McCarthy, as I mentioned, is going to be out 2 to 4 weeks. Joe Burrow, 3 months that he's going to be out. That's the end of the Bengals season, essentially, right? I mean, that's what we're saying, right? I mean, I'm not saying Jake Browning is a bad quarterback. However,
they're 2-0 for the first time since 2018, so there's that.
Yeah, no,
they'll buy time.
They've been off to slow starts.
That's
in
been
the
a problem for
and whatever the thing
team
was where they started all their guys in the preseason, that worked. It seemed like it worked because they're off to a 2-0 start versus the 1-2 and the 1-3s that they've had over the past couple of years to fight their way back into the playoffs during times when they, it's just funny to see how these teams are trying to figure it out. And it is funny also how the numbers do not work well for you if you are a team who is trying to get to the playoffs in the NFL. It's a 17-game season, and if you go 0-2, bad numbers. If you go 0-3, single-digit % chance of you getting to the playoffs. That's crazy.
Got to get off to a good start.
All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. We'll chat with Tom Curl one more time, and we'll get you into the top of the hour as well. So stay here. More to go. 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Best and worst on the program. JJ and Alex, by the way, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone. Best and worst brought to you by Doug Smith and the Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. How about UCLA? It's one thing to be down and out. Here's one of your worst. Well, or best. Actually, for me, it was best. I sent this to our producer Alex today and JJ in our group text, and I said, look at this. Look at the Pac-12 trolling UCLA with the Jerry Seinfeld. It's a shame. Because UCLA goes 0-3, and one pundit put up there, like, look at the remaining schedule of the UCLA Bruins. They could legitimately go 0-12 this season. To which the Pac-12 official account, the official Pac-12 account tweeted out, that's a shame. Yeah, they see him go away, and there you go. It made me real sad to see UCLA all up on the Tom, does it make you sad to see UCLA in such a bad spot there?
Cry me a river.
Oh, they left for greener pastures. I say greener, I mean the money, but I don't know if that's even going to pay off. UCLA looking like the worst team in the Big 12 or in the Big 10 this year so far.
The problem is Los Angeles.
Oh, it's LA.
Yeah.
I don't know. USC's back. They're 3-0. The
choke.
LA teams are 3-3 this year in the Big 10.
They'll choke.
And then finally, I did want to play this piece of sound that I missed last hour, but I had to bring it up, and it was the Brian Kelly going after a reporter. The reporter was asking about the offense of LSU, who was not playing well, admittedly, but Brian Kelly was like, "These kids, man." Well, you'll take a listen for yourself.
Brian in the back. I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it. That football team just worked their tail off to get an SEC win, and you want to know what's wrong. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect. How about that? Give them some respect instead of micro-analyzing every little thing.
There you go. He continued on, but he also continued today. I don't know if you noticed. I've got an update for you. He apologized to the reporter for going after him. Okay, how come? What about third downs? Okay, why can't you run the football? Oh, my goodness. It's hilarious, the back and forth. Those are all legitimate questions. It's funny to be a coach in the SEC and have to answer those questions, though.
The only thing I like better than UCLA and USC and Oregon getting beat is anybody
in the SEC.
Anybody in the SEC getting beat.
There you go. We'll come back again. More to go. 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.